Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next video. Today I have got another Dungeons & Dragons Prestige class video for you. And today, from the Races of the Wild, I have got the Whisperknife. Yeah. Alright, so the Whisperknife. First, let's talk about how you become a Whisperknife. So, it's a little complicated. This one's a little harder to get into a lot. First, you gotta be a halfling. So that's just straight up a requirement. You need a base attack bonus of +4. Doesn't sound too bad, but it's a little tricky considering some of the other things. You need a lot of skills. So you need balance 3 ranks. You need climb 3 ranks. Hide 6 ranks. Jump 3 ranks. Move silently 6 ranks. And tumble 3 ranks. So that's a lot of skills right there. I'm going to get into that here in a bit. It also requires a few feats. Several of them, actually. So it requires point blank shot, quick draw, 2-weapon fighting, weapon finesse, and that's it. But that's a lot of feats. And then it also requires that you have sneak attack of 1d6. So in order to get this, I can see you jumping in at 6th level. It'll take you 5 levels to gain all this stuff. The best way I see to make this build work, or to get into this class, is to do 1 level of rogue, 2 levels of ranger, going 2 weapon fighting instead of ranged combat, which is weird because this is very much a ranged class, but it's also a 2 wielding class. But you definitely want to go the 2 weapon fighting option as a ranger. Going that route will also get you a favorite enemy, so you get a couple of bonuses on that. Doesn't really help, but it's a better way to do it than going the other route. And then 2 levels of fighter, because you really need those feats. So I would say your first level should either be ranger or rogue, one or the other. It really depends on whether you care more about health or more you care about skill points. Now the difference in health is a d6 versus a d8. Not a whole lot. That's 2 extra hit points. On average, it's going to give you about 1 extra health. Not a ton, but every little bit helps. So on top of that, for skills, you are also looking at, I believe, rogues give 8 plus int for skill points, and then times 3 at first level, whereas rangers give 6 plus int and times 3. So you're looking at a couple extra skill points. Difference of about about 4 extra skill points. Not a ton, so it's really a matter of what do you care more about, 4 skill points or 1 HP. It's up to you. So that's really your choice. Don't go fighter first level. That's just stupid. Well, it gets you more health, but you're sacrificing a lot more skills, and it's going to make it harder to get into the class. So I wouldn't recommend doing fighter first level. I'd recommend ranger and a ranger or rogue. So anyways, that would be my build. Rogue 1, ranger 2, fighter 2. That would be the way I would do it. Now let's look into what you actually get with this class. Now this one does give a lot. It gives a d8 hit dice. Nice. It gives 6 plus int skills and a pretty good skill pool. Awesome. So you get a good base attack. That's great. You get surprisingly not a good fortitude save, but you got those 2 levels each of ranger and rogue, ranger and fighter. That should help counterbalance that. You have a good reflex save, which is great because I know fighter does not give a good reflex save. Rogue absolutely does. I'm not sure about ranger, so forget. I think it might. Then will save, you get a bad will save. I don't think any of your classes give a good will save. So that's interesting. Now you get a lot of special stuff though, tons of it. So let's go over some of that. First you get rapid shot. Cool. It's a prereq for pretty much all your ranged feats that you're going to want to be taking. So yeah, definitely good. It saves you having to take it. Or wait, no, rapid shot's not the prereq. It's that one's actually just a really good feat. That one just gives you an extra attack on a full attack. Pretty nice feat with ranged weapons. You get uncanny dodge, which makes it so you can't be caught flat-footed for the most part. You gain sneak attack, not at the same rate as a rogue, but you do gain Some sneak attack you get it at what, 2nd, 5th, and 8th level. So 2nd level and every 3 levels thereafter. But there's only 2 more, so you get an extra 3 plus 3. Not too bad. It's close to the rate of a rogue. Rogue gets it every 2. They get every 3. Well, they get it first starting at 2nd, so sort of every 2, then every 3. It's weird. So not bad. Defensive throw, basically. What one was that? Basically, it just means you can when you use a thrown weapon. You don't take the penalties for it if you're fighting in melee combat, because normally if you use a ranged or thrown weapon in melee combat, that provokes an attack of opportunity. For you, it won't once you get high enough level. I think it's like 3rd level or something. Yeah, 3rd level. Then you get improved catch, which this is really cool if you have a returning weapon, which would actually be a really smart idea for this class even without this feature. And that basically lets you move after you get after you attack. So you throw your weapon, and then a returning weapon will return to you. But generally, with that, you have to stay put, or else you won't catch it. This feature of the class lets you, or class feature lets you. You don't have to use that, so you can move. So that's kind of nice. Lets you attack then move. Gives you options. Can be very useful in combat. You get close defense. It's a very interesting ability. It gives you +2 dodge bonus to AC against if you happen to be next to a medium or larger enemy. If you're in anything that's in melee combat with you, you're going to have 2 higher AC. That's actually kind of nice. Sort of weird, but it works. They get fast movement. So starting at 6th level, they're 10 feet faster. Cool. Poison use, very nice. Starting at 6th level, that makes it so that that makes it so that they can put poison on their blades and they won't risk poisoning themselves. Very nice. You don't see that in a lot of classes. That's actually a really rare class feature. Vengeful Strike. It's a very interesting one that they get starting at 7th level. Basically, in place of a sneak attack, what they can do is they can whisper their foe's name into their knife and then get the sneak attack that way. And I'll get a Vengeful Strike. Well, I don't know why I did both. They get a Vengeful Strike in place of a sneak attack, which will stun their opponent for 1d4 rounds if they fail a fortitude save. So, nice. Yeah. It does require that you know your opponent's name, though, and your opponent must have a name, of course. So if your opponent doesn't have a name, you can't use it. So if your opponent's throwing random nameless NPCs at you, you can't use that against them. But the boss, there's a good chance you know his name, so you could use it against the boss, but not against the random whatevers. But you can only use it once at first anyways, and then 3 times once you hit 10th level, and that's per day, which not a ton. You get superior catch at 8th level. That's pretty cool. It's a lot like your other improved catch ability, except for it actually lets you, if you're dual wielding and you got like a dagger in both hands, you can throw them both, catch them both, throw them both again, catch them both. So you can actually do 2 thrown attacks in a single turn with each. So that's 4 total attacks. Or if you're just using one, you can throw it 3 times. You can throw, catch, catch, all in the same turn. Pretty nice. Then you get improved uncanny dodge. That's something normally only barbarians would get. Basically, it just means you can't be flanked. And then you get ranged flank, which sort of lets you flank from 10 feet out. So if you're 10 feet away, you can be part of a flanking against an opponent. So that's cool. Although you still don't actually threaten. It's complicated. You don't actually threaten them. You can't take attacks of opportunity if they move or anything. But you are able to flank and get that nice +2 to hit. Also give your allies that nice +2 to hit. So very nice. Probably more useful with the allies part, because given the fact that you can stand 10 feet, you can possibly stand like in the middle of a few enemies and get flanking bonuses to a lot of guys. So that's definitely a possibility. Whisperknives are actually very interesting. You can have pretty decent, you can get decent AC. There's not a lot of things that really restrict your AC other than the max dex bonus, so that would make it so you might not want to go with too heavy of armor, but at the same time, there's nothing that really stops you, especially with those 2 levels of fighter. So yeah, let's see. So you'd have decent AC, pretty good health. You have your bad level with your D6 of rogue, but that's 1 level. Then you have 2 levels of fighter with a D10. Uh, you know, then a bunch of levels with a D8 of ranger and this whisper knife. So lots of cool stuff. Definitely a good one for multi-classing. And the multi-class build absolutely works because all those, well, one, they're all within 2 of each other, but they're all within 1 of each other. And on top of that, technically they're all the same level because rogue doesn't count, so that 1 level of rogue doesn't count. So you just second fighter, second ranger, because rogue's favorite class, because you have to be a halfling. So yeah, great class for halflings. You should definitely look into it if you are planning to play a halfling that wants to throw knives from a distance. You can also throw in some arcane classes. If you did that, might not be a bad idea to look at. There's a few interesting classes like the Daggerspell Mage and Arcane Trickster, stuff like that. Could be very interesting to mix with this. So yeah. Anyways, that's really all I have to say about this class. It's a pretty good class all in all. What else is there? Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends. That really helps me out, helps me grow my channel. It's probably the best way to support me out of anything, really. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Got that up in the corner right there. On top of that, click the bell so you can get notifications. I've got a couple videos down there if you want to check that out. And as always, please like. Anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.